Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yeah, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Aaron Williams.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. BeerGuysRadio.com. We are radio for the local craft beer movement, broadcasting live from Variant Brewing Company in Roswell. And I'm Aaron Williams.
And I'm Tim Dennis, and we've got Brian Hewitt with us here as well. Becky Smalls is on assignment. She's actually out in Arizona visiting some breweries out there.
That's a tough
gig.
gig.
Time.
Yeah.
So we've got it all covered there. We are OTP, as they say in Atlanta. We're outside of the perimeter.
Terrifying.
Visiting the suburbs here. We were in Roswell, Georgia, as Aaron mentioned, talking to Variant Brewing Company today.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, you caught me in mid-drink.
Perfect timing there.
Exactly,
yes.
Exactly. Yeah, we've got Matt and Lauren Curling standing by the microphone, so thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Definitely. We're going to drink some of their beers and talk about the Roswell and OTP craft beer scene later on, so that's pretty exciting. But in the meantime, I'm always interested because you and Brian always just do a great round when it comes to craft beer. So how was your week? This
pretty
week.
Good,
yeah.
pretty good. So last weekend, there was that football game.
There was?
And prior to that, there were two Super Bowls.
Okay.
Last weekend,
yes.
Aaron. So on Saturday, Orpheus Brewing hosted their Super Bowl, SOUPER.
Gotcha.
And they had a soup competition there with a bunch of Atlanta's restaurants. And it was a charity event to raise funds for Atlanta Community Food Bank. And I was very honored to be invited as one of the panel of expert judges. So I'm a soup expert now.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you a soup expert? Is that
so
a soup sommelier, as they say?
I sat down with Austin Lewis Ray of Good Beer Hunting and with Jason Pellet, brewmaster at Orpheus, and we made the decisions. We made the decisions on the soup there.
So who came on top?
We did that. It was C&S Oyster House and Hugo's. Their seafood gumbo came out on top.
That was delicious.
And they were very excited to win there. And, of course, since we were at Orpheus, we drank some really nice sour beers and stouts.
Definitely.
And good stuff there. And then for the other Super Bowl, we just popped, quite a few different bottles of beer, enjoyed some good stuff there. We had a real nice one from Cycle Brewing, Brenner, I think it was called.
Barrel-aged coffee Brenner, and it was awesome.
It was really good. So, and then several more, but that was my weekend. I took it easy during the week because I partied pretty hard last weekend.
Yeah, because you're a wild man, Tim.
I'm crazy.
That's
I'm
how
out
you roll.
of control, Aaron.
Exactly. So I was pretty boring, as I usually am, but I did have a couple of good beers. Monday night's Ecolateur. I'm going to totally butcher that name. But Ecolateur, it's their dark cherry double barrel sour that's coming out this weekend, actually. So I'm looking forward to trying that again. But it was very, very tasty if you like those dark sours. Also, Gate City stopped by there real quick, and they had an Deuce, which is a version of their Juice. We're going to talk about that later in the show as our featured beer of the week. But that was great. And also, a friend of mine came back from a trip in Carolina, and they brought back a Catawba Hopness Monster. So, good IPA. Always good to enjoy that. So we've got lots of IPAs. The seasons are changing, and it's starting to become IPA season, and that just makes me happy.
IPA season.
I know it's your favorite season.
It's all just in time for drinking season.
Just in time.
That's right. That's exactly right. We'll go ahead and let's check out this week's Truck and Taps Beers of the Week.
Crack open a cold one. It's the Truck and Tap Beer of the Week. Woo-hoo! Craft beer and food trucks in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com.
So, Tim, what do we got?
Well, as you may have guessed from our guest, we're going to be drinking a lot of variant beers today. So I have enjoyed the Milkshake Street, is that what it is? Which is their Norcross Street West Coast IPA with some lactose in it, correct? Lactose and vanilla?
Lactose and vanilla.
Yeah. So that's so the milkshake, very popular there. So they a little twist, the West Coast style. A lot of times you see those with the juicy, fruity Northeast. So you guys shook it up a little bit there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We wanted it to be first and foremost an IPA, but also still kind of bring in that light and fluffy milkshake style to it. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. We got a couple kegs on nitro right now. I think it's pouring really good on nitro compared to CO2.
Really nice mouthfeel on that, on the nitro pour. That's and I mentioned you, West Coast is not my personal preferred style, but that's got, like you said, very pillowy, nice mouthfeel, good flavor. And if you're a West Coast guy, it's got that hoppy bitterness you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. This is great. And I'm a West Coast hoppy guy, so this is good stuff.
Yeah, and then we've got Gate City's All Deuce Triple IPA. Gate City not too far from Variant Brewing here. And we have one that I was really looking forward to. We have a Bearded Iris Waffle Talk.
Yeah.
With some maple stout and a mood ring from them.
Which is their raspberry double IPA. So
let's do it.
Absolutely. We got lots of stuff coming
That's
out.
the plans for today.
Exactly. That's my kind of plans. But, the man with the plan is Brian Hewitt, and now that he's back from vacation or back from assignment, let's go ahead and get the headlines.
What's in the news? The beer guys have the scoop.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Time for headlines.
Okay, what's going on, Brian?
All right, so we have a Brunch Bill update. So the Brunch Bill is officially known as Senate Bill 17. It was, as it's written now, or as it was written to hit the floor of the Senate, it's going to allow restaurant and retail stores to sell beer and wine on Sundays starting at 11 a.m. instead of the current 12:30 p.m. So it made it out of the Senate Regulated Industries and Utilities Committee at the end of January, but it has been updated this week to remove retail stores from the bill. So if it passes as is, restaurants can serve starting at 11 a.m., retail will still have to wait until 12:30.
And that's a bill that they've been fighting for several years, one they want to get, because on the beer front, on alcohol laws, you have two different areas of opposition. You have business interests and religious interests.
Sure.
And the religious interests are they're not as easy to negotiate. Neither are easy, but when you're doing religious interests and Sunday sales, that's tough. And if I remember correctly, Brian, even if that passes, it'll still have to be adopted at the local level for cities and municipalities to sell at 11.
Yeah,
correct?
I believe that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so the state will pass it, but your local municipality will have to make it official. So
You
That's
will be
what I
allowed
just
at the
said,
state
Aaron.
level.
I'm
Yeah.
just
What I just
look. I'm
said.
drinking milkshake IPAs, and I'm just trying to make sure.
How many of
everything's
those have
okay.
you had?
7? No, wait, what? That's it.
All right, moving on. World of Beer in Midtown Atlanta closed abruptly this week. No real notice other than a note on a sheet of paper taped to the door. In a message from the owner, he confirmed closing the Midtown location and the cancellation of plans to open a Dunwoody location. No word on any plans for corporate or other franchisees to make use of the former World of Beer sites.
And that's the last one in the Atlanta area.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we had a Kennesaw location that closed last year in Midtown, so no more World of Beer in Atlanta.
I checked on it, and the Midtown location outlasted the Kennesaw, Georgia location by about 6 months.
Okay.
So they went down pretty quick, RIP.
Wow.
So there's a lot of buzz in the news about Burial's Forestry Camp, which is opening this summer. It's going to be on 2 acres in Asheville, North Carolina. The facility will have a new craft beer bar that will be inside a former Civilian Conservation Corps barracks. They'll have 20 beers, vintages of over 150 different bottles and cans, limited stuff, and it won't just be Burial beer, so there'll be a lot of interesting stuff. They'll have a small menu of sandwiches, charcuterie, local fare, and some other stuff, whiskey and whatnot for those so inclined. And a lot of Burial's future events will be held at this forestry camp.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a great addition. Of course, Asheville, one of the great beer towns in the country, and Burial, one of the great breweries in the country. And so this has got a nice idea. I'm really interested to see how that whole campus thing moves out.
I was looking for pictures online. I didn't see too many, but it looks like it will be a nice setting for having a few beers.
Yeah, definitely.
So Weihenstephan, the oldest brewery in the world, is collaborating with Sierra Nevada on 2 beers in 2018. So Sierra Nevada every year brews an Oktoberfest with a different German brewer. This year it's Weihenstephan. But before they get into the Oktoberfest, they're going to brew a hoppy wheat beer called Braupakt, which is German for brewery packed. It's going to have German Hellertauer hops, Amarillo and Chinook, the house yeast strain, and it'll be interesting because it'll be the first time that Weihenstephan has ever had a collaboration at their facility. They've always gone somewhere else to collaborate. And of course, all the beers will adhere to the Reinheitsgebot, which is German's beer purity law.
Those Oktoberfest collabs they do are usually pretty good.
Oh yeah, they're usually on point.
Kind of a cool project they do each year. It's always nice to look out for those. And some local news on collaborations. I saw that Nick and Molly from the Porter were over in Belgium brewing with T. Verzet for their 10th anniversary. They're doing a collaboration.
That's right. I did see that picture.
Yeah, so I think, they're brewing for a collaboration, and I believe there's actually Navari Res in Portland is brewing a collaboration with Verzet as well for the same time. So those Verzet guys over there across the pond are quite busy.
Busy, man. Look
Definitely.
at them go.
We're going to go ahead and take a quick break right now. You'll listen to the Beer Guys Radio Show. BeerGuysRadio.com is our website. And we are going to be talking with Matt and Lauren Curling from Variant Brewing Company in Roswell right after the break. We'll be back after this.
Craft beer forged with a reverence for tradition and new styles that start a revolution. Ironmonger Brewing. The brewers at Ironmonger pride themselves in being masters of barrel-aged, hoppy, and sour beers. They invite you to their tap room to taste and see. And coming soon, Ironmonger's Barrel Room, featuring live entertainment. Keep up to date on all things Ironmonger by liking them on Facebook. Ironmonger Brewing, establishing a new standard in craft beer.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
He hates these cans. Stay away from the cans.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
And welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Follow us on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Beer Guys Radio. We're live at Variant Brewing Company in Roswell, Georgia, and we're going to talk with Matt and Lauren Curling.
Excellent, guys. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Definitely.
These are great beers that we're enjoying here. So, and while we were on break there, we opened a crowler, which you were kind enough to save for us because you kicked your keg there. So we're very happy because Aaron said this is the first time you've tried that, right?
I have. It's an award-winning beer.
It is.
Which is great. It was actually won the Beer Guys Radio Award for Best New Sour Beer, right? Is that what it won?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I should know my own awards, but I should, yes. But no, this is delicious. It's got a lot of fresh raspberry in there. Not overly cloyingly sweet or tart, but I think the salt backs it off just a little bit. And this is a delicious beer. So thank you for saving that for us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Good stuff. So we like to start off with this question. It's just a little fun, kind of set some things up. What's your craft beer story? How'd you get involved in craft beer and brewing and starting a brewery?
So about 9 years ago, I started homebrewing. Originally just started in the kitchen, brewed a batch with my brother at his house, had a lot of fun. Went and brought my own homebrew kit, which started in the kitchen, then went to the basement, then took over the garage, and then eventually took over the basement again. When we moved, I kind of remodeled our basement to be a mini brewery. So I have probably still too much homebrew stuff, but
it's taking over the whole house.
Yeah,
that's the R&D section.
That's
right.
That's right. It is.
No, I was going to say that Lauren, of course, you're Matt's wife, and you're very patient. I would say. I don't think my wife would be really stoked if I had a bunch of beer stuff all through my entire house. So that would be good.
No, it was fun for me too.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the whole process. I think we've bonded over finding craft beer and drinking craft beer together and sharing it with our friends. So it was also equally as fun for me as well.
Now, see, I brewed with Matt and Lauren in the basement brewery.
Okay.
And Lauren works it. I mean, she's
I bet.
She's toting full kegs around, or full
kegs. I was going to say that's pretty
the kegels
impressive.
Clean out great. She's in there. You're just as passionate as Matt about all of this, right?
Yeah, I would say I am. I really enjoy it.
Very cool. So awesome.
And then I had the opportunity to work up at Cherry Street for a little while when we decided we wanted to open Variant. We've been working on this since 2015, and this is our 15th weekend open, I think. Is that correct? So,
week 15.
Yeah.
Week 15. Very
Excellent.
cool.
It's been a long time coming.
There you go. And so speaking of a long time coming, what kind of made you the decision to A, go pro, and B, here in the Roswell area?
So I was born and raised in Roswell, so that part, it felt it's great to be able to do it here, and it felt weird to even consider doing it somewhere else. So we were really lucky that we got the spot that we did at the time that we did, especially somewhere that's so close to downtown in the heart of Roswell. And then, sorry, what was the other part?
Why did you decide to go pro? I mean, you've been homebrewing for a while. You've won awards, those types of things. What kind of was the impetus behind that?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it, and anytime you can turn something you enjoy into a full-time job, I say definitely go for it. And it took a long time. There's a lot of red tape. You're working in a highly regulated industry, but I'd say it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, that's kind of the best laid plans, because I know. Matt and I have known each other for quite a while. Sure. We used to, on the homebrew competition circuit, we'd be trading messages. Hey, man, how'd you do? What'd you get there? So I knew when he was conceptual. I mean, I remember asking you, have you ever thought about starting a brewery? And at one time the answer being, man, I'd like to one day. Going to that. But, breweries never get to open when they want to. And it's not on your shoulders, that. I mean, waiting on construction or approval permits and everything. It's a process, and I don't know that a brewery's ever opened.
No, and there's nothing you can do to
there.
speed it up either. Everyone, there's tons of breweries that come in here and you're like, yeah, we're going to open in 3 months. They're like, oh yeah, what part are you at? I'm like, no, you got more than 3 months.
Yeah, I think we should. Tim, you always said we should start a pool whenever we say like, yeah, we're going to open in October.
Yes.
And we're like, okay, how much plus or minus do you want to think that's going to be?
Bet on that spread.
Exactly.
Well, you see on our sign it says 2015. People ask us all the time. So
just say we've been here.
Yeah,
where have you been?
Right, exactly. So last year we talked to you at the Atlanta Cask Ale tasting, something we did again this year where we talked to a few breweries in planning that we're looking to open up. And so, being a reality now, I know there's been a lot of work from now to then, like we just talked. So what did you learn in the process, something you might be able to share with someone else looking at a brewery that maybe you didn't expect going into this?
Definitely a lot of things. Working with your local municipalities is a huge part of it. Location is highly important, and having a city that's kind of behind you. Roswell was great working with. I just know that it can be frustrating. Patience is definitely one of them. Long lead times on everything. I mean, no matter, people tell you, it'll be there in 10 weeks. It's not going to be there in 10 weeks. Brewing equipment is right now, there's so many breweries opening up that manufacturers can't keep up. Everything is on a huge, crazy lead time.
Yeah, I think, and also I always heard it's like you want to add 10 to 20% of what your original budget was too, because everything always goes over, right?
Yep. And definitely don't underestimate storage space, keg storage, and every little thing takes up a lot more room than you would think.
Yeah, adds up. So, speaking of room and that, your brewery, your tasting room is probably it's my favorite. It's one of the most gorgeous tasting rooms I've been in. It's just really gorgeous. It's cozy, it's roomy, but not huge, expansive. And Matt, you kind of described the feel here. What was your thinking? Kind of what was the feel you wanted to give here in your tap room?
So the building was designed to kind of feel like an old train station, old pump house, old definitely manufacturing space. We got the kegs lined up there on the pump, so it just feels like a manufacturing warehouse space. And a lot of natural light. We got the clear story up above us.
We wanted it to feel open.
It definitely does.
It's not a huge space, but it's inviting, and there's a lot of natural light from the windows. I mean, it's the elevated ceilings.
And you've got the patio outside too. I mean, this is going to be super inviting once spring hits and we start to warm up a couple of degrees, and it's time to hang out in the patio.
Now, Aaron, I want you to ask this
I do.
next
Okay,
question.
here's the deal.
I want to hear, because now I'm going to preface this by saying Brian and I have no idea what you're talking about here.
Which is fine.
So fire away.
Okay, so I was looking for some shiplap here when you guys were doing the thing. So do you guys have any plans to add some shiplap to the thing?
He said that. I still don't even know.
You don't know what that means? Nobody watches. Nobody watches HGTV around here. Okay, listen. Okay, then I'm just I'm an old married guy.
No,
I'm just going to back away.
I want to know.
It's like weathered wood. So it's like it'd be like the wood you have here, but it'd be like the wood on ships, on old ships, the gray weathered wood. And Chip and Joanna Gaines from Flip This House there on HGTV. They use shiplap all the time. So I just wanted to use. Sorry, that was a horrible.
No worries. We do have a lot of different types of wood in here.
I know. It's very nice, though, but I do like, again, the open feel, the industrial feel, and it makes sense to me now that you've kind of explained that. And just the windows itself, it really, again, it opens things up, and it really kind of makes it inviting for a lot of folks to stay here.
Sure. But no shiplap.
There's no shiplap, though. Maybe in the restrooms or something. Maybe we can do that. So
yes, good stuff. So
we'll look into that.
Okay, good. I appreciate that. That's good.
We'll line the barrel room with
now, you were talking, Matt, about the Roswell beer scene, kind of the community here and that. The city's been very welcoming to craft beer in general here, correct? Kind of, what have they done to help you along the process here?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Roswell CBB, the City Visitors Bureau, has put out pamphlets. If you go to our bar right now, you can find they have a pamphlet that breweries can stamp. And once they visit all of the Roswell local breweries, brew pubs, sorry, you can take it back to the CBB and they will swap it and give you a glass. So it's kind of they're helping promote Roswell breweries, helping promote tourism, want everybody to go visit and get out and check out and see what downtown Roswell has and what Roswell has.
Very cool. And you've got, so as we mentioned earlier, there's Gate City not far from you here. We've got From the Earth Brewing. That's not too far from here. There's Abbey the Holy Goats a little farther up in Roswell. And technically Sandy Springs, but only a few miles from here, Pontoon Brewing that we just talked to last week. So there's numerous beer bars and such in downtown Roswell that have a good selection and stuff. So really picked up as a beer town.
Definitely. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, talk more with the guys from Variant Brewing Company, more about Roswell and more about the craft beer scene. You'll listen to Beer Guys Radio, beerguysradio.com, and we'll be back right after this.
It's Aaron and Tim, the beer guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock and Alpharetta are always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy, Aaron. See, they've got 18 of them.
As for the truck part, well, that's when it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks daily, so that way you're getting a different menu every day.
Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock, Alpharetta, and coming soon to Duluth in 2018. Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the beer guys sent you.
We are Reformation Brewery, celebrating the reformer in you. Locally crafted within the renowned Etowah watershed of Woodstock, Georgia, Reformation creates yeast-forward brews full of aroma and flavor crafted to last. Come see us in beautiful Woodstock, Georgia, for a tour and tasting of unique brews that you can't find anywhere else. Reformation Brewery, set beer free. ReformationBrewery.com.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Well, I'm sure I'd feel much worse if I weren't under such heavy sedation.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
And welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Visit us at beerguysradio.com. We are in Roswell, Georgia today. We're at Variant Brewing Company in their gorgeous tap room. We are drinking delicious beers, and we are talking to Matt and Lauren Curley.
Yes, and we are drinking some beers as well. Actually, not from Variant this time, although they make phenomenal beers, but we actually cracked open a Bearded Iris Waffle Talk.
Yes.
And that's tasty.
And shout out to our friend Nathan Schieber for hooking us up there. So
definitely.
Beer people are good people. We appreciate them taking care of us.
Absolutely. So now let's talk a little bit more about beer. Now, one of the things, one of the varieties that you've got, you've got really a wide variety of beers. From stouts to browns, sours, IPA. Is that variety important for you guys to have?
Yeah, absolutely. We want people to come in and feel comfortable with what they're ordering. We want someone to come in and, say, I'm in the mood for an IPA or I'm in the mood for something light and find something that really calls out to them when they come in and not necessarily have to walk in and be like, they only have stouts on and I don't really want a stout, but I'll order one because I'm here. We want them to come in and be excited about what they're ordering and find something that really is for them.
And you did that right out of the gate, didn't you, Matt? When you opened, you had, 10 or 12 beers on tap? So.
When we opened, we had 13.
Okay,
Right now we have 16, and we keep it at about 16 as much as possible. And so far, every week we've been open, we put on a new beer. So a new beer every week.
How much do you struggle with keeping that many beers, that big a variety of beers on tap?
It's honestly not too bad. Luckily, with a smaller brew house, we're able to do that. We have some smaller tanks. We're able to, split batches and create variants and try out new things with different fruits and adjuncts and spices. So it hasn't been too bad. And honestly, that's really the part of brewing that I really enjoy is the creative side of it. I'm pretty severely ADD, and getting stuck brewing the same thing over and over again is monotonous and kind of mind-numbing. So,
But you do have a few very popular ones that move pretty quick, right? Have
Absolutely.
to go back and revisit those.
The cashmere and the raspberry lemon move pretty quickly.
I would say coconut coffee, dark alchemy.
That's moving real fast too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's funny actually. Speaking of cashmere, Tim was the one who really kind of turned me on the cashmere IPA, and we actually thought for a while that it was a brand new hop. We kind of see new hops coming out all the time, but actually you told us no, this one's been around for a while. So, why bring this back?
It's been around for a little while, but it didn't really start to gain popularity until recently. And you know how it is with new hops. When they first come out, they're just a string of numbers, and if they start to pick up popularity, they name them. But from the time they name them and really start planting more of them, it's 2 years until you get a full yield. So a lot of the times those new hops can get really hard to get before the hop farms have a chance to catch their breath. For us, it was a really good mix of, it's a popular hop, but it's not, it's not Citra and Mosaic. It's not flying out. We can get it, but it's still a little bit difficult to get. It's a really unique hop. The reason I chose it is Citra and Mosaic have been around a long time. The tangerine, the grapefruit, the orange, the bright, those citrusy flavors. This is a little bit more subtropical. You kind of get guava and pineapple and coconut and passion fruit. So it's just a little bit different, but I really like it.
Yeah, it's great, and that's one, it's unique because, like you said, Simcoe, Citra, and all of those, we see a lot of those around. So it's nice to have a unique hop, something a little different there,
sure.
In that kind of beer. And I love the Northeast style, so the combination of that hop and that, and it is a little polarizing with some people, but you have your Norcross Street West Coast IPA. So if folks aren't in love with Cashmere, one, they're wrong, but two, they can go get them some Norcross Street and get that classic West Coast, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because, you talk about your ADDs, and I can feel your pain because I have the same thing. But you're able to try a lot of different variants. See, I just got that. I got the name.
Just getting it?
Yes, I'm a little bit slow on the uptake with some of your core beers, so you're able to really experiment and have a good time. So, yeah. See, look, you're getting crowd. The crowd's loving it too.
Now, what one are you drinking right now?
Oh, that's a good one.
Pina colada.
The pina colada.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
good
thank
stuff.
You.
Excellent. So when it comes to that kind of variety, how important is it to have a tap room and a kind of a small batch to do some of that experimentation?
I definitely say it's really important, for us to be able to test things out in the tasting room before we even focus on a large scale. I mean, obviously on a 7-barrel system, we can only be so large anyways. But, the addition of crowlers have been great for us. We're looking into a way to package in the future to get more out on the open market.
Doing some distribution, getting out there into distribution.
Yeah, but it definitely gets harder to keep up with a variety of beer once you start getting into distribution and, a beer really takes off. If we start distributing more and more Cashmere, that more and more of our space in the back becomes Cashmere tanks, and it's a lot more difficult to kind of put on a new beer every week.
And it seems almost like a catch-22 for a lot of new breweries that you want that expansion, but you don't want to be brewing Cashmere IPA 3 shifts a day, 5 days a week. You need to get that R&D, and you need to get that uniqueness into your mix too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with the passage of SB 85 aligned cells here, like you guys are doing, did you consider? We've got a couple breweries in the works here in Georgia right now. They're going to be own premise breweries where they don't have any plans for distribution or extremely limited distribution. Did you ever consider that, just selling at your tap room?
We definitely considered it. At the time, it wasn't technically legal or allowed, but also at the same time, we want to have a presence outside of the brewery as well. The brewery always definitely comes first. We want people to come here and have the best experience and be able to try a variety of things, but we really like being in local restaurants and up the street and being able to go to events and do all those things. We ultimately want to get our beer to as many people as possible.
And in a way, and then that's them showing their support for us. That's the community showing support for us, is wanting to have our beer at the restaurant.
Right. Have you sent any out to market yet? Have you been on tap?
Absolutely, yeah. So in Roswell, we've sent out about 50 kegs so far. Okay. So a lot of the restaurants up here are starting to carry us pretty continually, and we're working on sending more out and trying to keep up with it.
Awesome. So are there any collaborations planned? I know that we've seen the guys from the Earth here. When I came in earlier, we had Second South Brewery had someone was here. Any plans for collaborative efforts here?
So we actually have a collaboration planned with Dry County.
Okay, cool.
But between them just getting a new system and us kind of ramping up here, we haven't gotten around to it yet, but we have a couple things on the books with them that we're real excited to do.
Awesome. Now, barrel aging, Matt, that's something that I know was kind of in the plans for you. What's the update on your barrel program, and when are we going to see some barrel-aged beers?
So our mid-morning Imperial Breakfast Stout with coffee, maple, and cinnamon is actually going into bourbon barrels this weekend on Saturday, and we will hopefully see it in December next year.
Okay.
That's the start of our barrel program.
I was going to say, you've got a very large and vast barrel room back there. You gave me the tour.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot more coming. We're still trying to figure out the few logistics there. That barrel room kind of has a lot of our patio furniture, all of our crowlers, and so we got to figure out where we're going to store some of those things in the meantime. But we can fit about 12, 20 barrels in there comfortably right now, and once we empty it, we can fit about 40.
It's time to start looking at an expansion or second.
Yeah, there you go.
So, yeah.
I don't know just yet. But
No, well, before we talk, though, you had mentioned that you've got some more tanks in there that you weren't expecting to get for another 4, 5, 6 months, but it's a good problem to have to expand pretty quickly and get that demand up.
Sure, absolutely.
Let's go ahead and take a quick break right now. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. BeerGuysRadio.com is our website. Of course, you can find us on the socials as well. We're going to come back and talk to Matt and Lauren Curling of Variant Brewing Company here in Roswell. We're broadcasting live from their brewery at Variant, and we'll be back right after this.
Have you ever thought about owning your own brewery, but don't know what it takes to get one built? We're CRL Contracting, and we build breweries. We are the most experienced contractors in the state of Georgia when it comes to building new breweries and tap rooms, or expanding current breweries. If you've been to Orpheus, Second Self, or Scofflaw, then you know what kind of work we can do. Just give us a call at 678-546-3382 or visit crlcontracting.com for more information. CRL Contracting. We build breweries. crlcontracting.com.
Time for the Hot List. The Beer Guys have the scoop on what's going on next week. Brought to you by CRL Contracting. We build breweries. crlcontracting.com.
That's hot.
And there's all kinds of awesome stuff going on in Georgia this week. Tomorrow and Sunday, we have Gate City wrapping up their weekend of anniversary celebrations. So on Tuesday, Mardi Gras party at Southern Brewing Company. Rolling into Wednesday, it's Valentine's Day, y'all. So if your SO is understanding, or if they're a beer geek like you, then roll on out to Pontoon Brewing or Cypress Street Pint and Plate. They're having events there. You can see what's going on. And you can go out and celebrate your real true love, beer.
There you go.
Aaron. So on Thursday, that kicks off Summit Snellville's IPA month. And they're having different IPAs, a huge list that they're featuring throughout the month. So check that out. There's information on that on their Facebook page. Also on Thursday, there's a hazy IPA party at the Georgia Beer Garden. And Creature Comforts is having a silent headphone party. Next Friday, we have Arches hosting their first annual pig roast. Reformation Brewery releases their Pinot barrel-aged Cadence. And Monday Night Garage hosts their annual prom. Next Saturday, go out and celebrate 21 years with Sweetwater. They're finally legal to drink their own beer. They're going to be having a huge party at the brewery there. We're going to have Southern Sky Brewing hosting the Heartbreakers Hangout Singles Awareness Day, and Creature Comforts is going to be releasing their reclaimed rye, Aaron, for the very first time in cans.
Sounds good.
So for the full list of Georgia beer events, check out our website at beerguysradio.com. Cheers.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
And welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We are on location today. We're in Roswell, Georgia at Variant Brewing Company, and we have been talking to Matt and Lauren Curling about their beer, home improvement projects, and lumber, and all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, it's a very varied
variety
purse.
show.
Exactly, it's how we roll.
We're like the Donnie and Marie of beer. So,
something like that.
Yes.
So,
Matt, Lauren, is there anything that we have not mentioned you want folks to know about Variant Brewing?
I would say stay tuned with our social media. There's always new beer coming out. We got a lot of stuff planned for spring and summer. A lot of fun releases, some more of those gozas coming that we haven't put on before that are going to be real exciting.
Go ahead.
No, go right ahead, Lauren.
I was going to say, we'll say next month we're going to have a surprise in the tasting room. We're going to do a restaurant pop-up.
Oh, wow.
So we are collaborating with Coalition, and there'll be more information on social media soon. But,
okay, very cool.
And that actually leads to another question, too. You're just, of course, just a brewery here. Do you have some food that comes in, and do you guys are planning to do that or anything, like food trucks, those types of things?
So we do have a small kitchen here. It's mostly for private events, special events, pop-ups, things like that, collaborations. We'll pair those and kind of go accordingly, but we don't regularly have food every day. But we also will, spring and summer months, warmer weather, weather conditions really apply for food trucks. But we definitely do have plans to have more food trucks out here. We did a lot of them when we first opened, when the weather was a little bit warmer.
Now, you actually utilized the space for your first bottle release with food. You did chicken and waffles and breakfast stout. Right?
Correct, yeah.
That's perfect.
So we did our mid-morning breakfast stout with chicken and waffles from Table of Maine, and everything was terrific.
Very cool. I had a couple of friends that made it to that event, and they said it was fantastic. Just really had a
Chef
good
from
time.
Table of Maine's actually drinking at our bar right now.
Okay.
There you go, man.
Maybe you should cook us up some chicken and waffles, actually. We'll be all set.
Having fire up the fryer back there and see what we can do there.
That'll work.
Yeah.
So
now there's also Roswell Beer Fest is coming soon, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming Variant's going to be on tap over there, correct?
We have a couple special things planned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. And
I know of a couple of people that are going to be at Roswell Beer Fest, too.
Yeah, there'll be a few there.
Those guys, yeah.
One thing they do slightly different, they do by style rather than having a brewery at each table. So
correct.
You may have 3 different, variant beers.
That's interesting.
But they're going to be at different locations because they sort by styles.
Right. They've done their best to kind of accommodate the local places and try to get most of their beers grouped up together if they can. Previous years I know that they've done like a local corner, which is local breweries, and they let them have the separate styles together at their tent. But they do it by style, and I think as a populace, the consumers really like it because a lot of the consumers here are still new beer drinkers, and they know they like certain styles, so they go over there and they really get into it and get really deep into IPAs or really into stouts, and it kind of helps them identify where they're going to spend a lot of their time.
Can hit their wheelhouse there.
Yeah.
Know exactly what they want to do.
Now, speaking of, again, this is we're coming up on festival season too. Do you guys plan on pouring a lot of local festivals as well?
We do. We're going to do as many as we can. Off the top of my head, I know we're going to be at Swanee. We'll be at
Classic City.
We'll be at Classic City. We'll be at Roswell, and we'll definitely be at the Wild Beer Fest down at Wrecking Bar.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's an excellent festival. One of my favorites.
It's an awesome one. Yeah, they do a good job.
Now, Matt and Lauren, we kind of brushed on this a little bit earlier, but if people want to keep up with all the awesome stuff going on here at Variant Brewing, what's the best way for them to do that?
We have a Facebook, an Instagram, and a Twitter you can check out. All 3 of those, and our website as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say our tap list on our website also is populated. Everything's done through Untappd, so anytime we make a change in the tasting room, it's populated on our website, so you can see our current draft list there.
Just live, real time. You update it, and it's out there online.
Yep, it's always current.
And I've seen Lauren already taking selfies, putting videos on there too. So you're hip to that social media thing, aren't you?
I try to stay a little current. Yeah.
There you go. That's what the kids do these days.
Fresh, man.
Exactly.
Fresh.
Exactly.
Matt, Lauren, thank you so much for joining us today, sharing your amazing beers, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks
for having us.
Cheers, guys.
Now, Aaron, I believe that you have a little feature for us this week.
I do.
You've got a featured beer. Tell us what's going on.
Absolutely. So, I was lucky enough to go hang with the guys from Gate City the other day. And this is their Deuce. A-W-E, Deuce, from Gate City. It's going to be released this weekend. It actually is an offshoot of their Juice, which they've also put out. And this Deuce was actually an entry in their Wrecking Bar Strong Beer Fest. And again, they've just canned it. So it's a 10.5 ABV triple IPA. Of course, there's some debate on whether you can actually have a triple IPA or not, but it's a big IPA, an Imperial IPA. And, for me, I was able to taste that, really enjoyed it. It's got a big floral nose to it. I mean, you're just getting a lot of that hot florality to it, and it's really, really nice. Finishes a lot drier than you'd expect, though. So for folks that are looking for an approachable double IPA or triple IPA, this is a really good one because, again, a lot of the time you just get a lot of that hot bomb, malt bombs, and you're just getting a lot of that alcohol. This one's a good drinking beer, especially for a 10.5 ABV. So, again, very, very tasty beer, and those guys did a great job.
Very cool, man.
Definitely.
Good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're drinking on some more beers. You got several. We got a few minutes left to talk about what we've got. You've got one of the variants.
I'm drinking PRC.
Yes.
And Matt, tell us about this beer. Tell us all about PRC.
So PRC was our take on kind of like a Mexican style stout, definitely inspired by Hunapu and Mexican cake. It was done with vanilla, chocolate, cinnamon, and habaneros. We chose habaneros because a lot of times when you use peppers, they can get a little bit green and vegetal,
Right.
whereas habaneros are pretty tasteless. You get that raw heat, and the heat is a real nice, subtle heat. You get it kind of more in your chest, like sipping bourbon. It's a warming sensation. It's not, you don't put it, it's not a like eating spicy food heat.
It's not like you get burning in your nasal cavities.
Right.
It's like you get a little bit of that warmth in the back end.
From the
Right.
the middle bottom of the throat down to the chest is where you feel that.
Yeah.
And that's what I like, a little bit of heat. So that's
absolutely.
good.
Yeah. And that one's got a little bit of age on it. It was from probably about a month after we opened.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And that's the peppers are definitely noticeable but mild. How was the heat on this one when it was fresh?
It was a little bit warmer.
Yeah,
but
peppers will
like I said,
fade
it was
pretty good.
still, it was a warming sensation. It was never like crazy spicy. And not that crazy spicy is bad. Mexican Siberius is crazy spicy and it is delicious.
I don't like spicy.
So
and this is okay. The heat's okay with me.
Do you like Mexican Siberius? And we're talking about Wrecking Bar, beer from Wrecking Bar Brew Pub here.
In moderation for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Couple of pints and you're done.
Beer.
Right?
Exactly. She does a few keg stands.
It's impossible to get because every time they put it on, it's like immediately gone. But
I
it's so
think
good.
most of the time I found they did a special keg out to a growler shop one day, and I happened to luck up and go there. I've never made it down, so Wrecking Bar does what they call Cinco de Siberias.
Yeah.
So the 5th of each month, if you go down to Wrecking Bar at 7 p.m., that's when they tap a keg of that. And then at their beer fest, they'll put it on there. I think most of the times I've had it has been at their various beer fests.
Yeah.
Just
Every time I've had it, it's been at one of the fests.
Yeah, the only time I've had it was
and
I went to Hunapu's Day and had to go all the way to Tampa to
That's
get
right.
it. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
That was a great opportunity,
It
actually.
does, definitely,
It
yeah.
was. That was something that's funny talking about that because we were down at Hunapu's Day and Wrecking Bar was there with Mexican Siberius and I forget the other ones, but a couple of really nice beers. And there was another hype brewery next to them, and I forget
what
it
it was,
now.
but there's a huge line.
But
and
there's
was,
seriously a couple hundred people there, and just no one at Wrecking Bar, And it's like, you guys just don't know what you're missing here with these beers, but everybody wanted that hype beer.
It's hard at one of those big festivals, man.
Yeah.
It really is. I have been at Wrecking Bar at 7 o'clock, and that keg that they tapped was gone in 15 minutes.
Oh, absolutely.
I ordered
Every
one,
time.
went to order a second pouring, and they were small pours. Gone. Done. It goes
Doesn't
quick.
last long, man.
No, those guys do a great job. So cool. Well, anyway, it is time, Tim, by the way.
Yes.
For a giveaway to give away.
Oh, my gosh, I love
We're
this
going to
part
give
of the
away
show,
give away some things. And again, thank you for Variant, by the way. They gave us some additions to our swag pack.
Absolutely.
So
Very cool. Thank you so much.
Definitely.
We always love giving away cool prizes and brewery swag. So our winner this week, Aaron, is Sue Tingley. And Sue, we want to thank you for subscribing to This Week in Georgia Beer. Drop us an email to beerguys@beerguysradio.com, and we'll work out getting your swag pack to you.
Yeah, and our cup runneth over, as they say, of swag. So I've got some good
much
stuff
swag.
out there, absolutely.
Yes. People are generous, man.
They do, man. They're awesome.
They do
You know,
well.
craft beer people are the best people. That's my
They
mantra,
are.
I think, for the day.
That's mantra.
Or
You
the-
should get that tattoo.
I'm going to pass on the tattoo on my
a
forehead,
face,
on the
a
face
face
tattoo. Yeah, so maybe you could do
Yeah.
that. That would
Put you down with shiplap on one side.
Yep.
And craft beer people are the best people.
Exactly. My wife would love that. Eve
Yes,
would love that.
absolutely.
So
Thug life, Aaron. Thug
exactly.
life. So-
Hashtag.
But Aaron, if folks want to join in to win some of this cool swag that you've got, how would they do that?
Hey, it's easy. Just go ahead to sign up on beerguysradio.com and sign up for our newsletter, This Week in Georgia Beer. Tim does an awesome job making sure everything is all up to date and current with what is happening in the world of Georgia beer. So go ahead and get that. We don't spam you, and it's good stuff. Anyway, coming up on the show next week, we're going to take a trip. I'm very excited about this. We're going to go to southwestern Georgia, central Georgia.
Yep.
My geography is a little bit bad.
It's cool.
I'll get there, but we're going to go ahead and talk to Pretoria Fields, brand new brewery to just open up in Albany, Georgia, and a couple other breweries that we may swing by too. So it should be a fun time.
It's going to be a good time,
Yeah.
man. Road trip. Beer Guys Road Trip.
I love the
Road
Beer
trip.
Guys Road Trip,
Yes.
exactly. So in the meantime, check us out at beerguysradio.com, and of course we're there on the socials as well. Don't forget to drink local, and we'll talk to you next time. Cheers.
The Beer Guys Radio Show on the Beer Guys Radio Network. BeerGuysRadio.com.